but stitching back to Jermall Charlo and back to boxing, Eddie Hearn has declared that he will make an offer to Jermall Charlo for the Demetrius Andrade fight on DAZN, and explain that he'd be happy for this to be just a one-fight deal that doesn't tie Charlo to the network, which I gotta say is probably a very key clause in contracts moving forward for big fights to be made, is that these guys do not like being tied down, it seems. Even when they get tied down in big contracts, they don't like it, a la Canelo. So I think a lot of these top guys value autonomy and some, level of freedom. And I'm not surprised that Charlo hasn't been out there demanding that I'm not going to sign a deal with DAZN. If you want one off, I'll take that. And Eddie Hearn out there, hopefully he's, comes through on this and actually sends an offer to Jermall Charlo that doesn't have any sort of option or deals with it to DAZN. And Rob's shaking his head like that's not going to happen. But I mean, in a best case scenario, if that were to happen, I think the fight would get made, and I think the fight would be great to watch, and it would have some meaning to it, even though Jermall Charlo, kind of is a fake champion in a way, just to put it bluntly, like that's just a reality to it. But if you beat and same with Andrade. Like, Andrade defeated Walter Katzendokwa for a vacant belt, for God's sake. Neither of these guys have a real legitimate claim to being the number one guy in the division. It's not even like an arguable case. They just don't have that case. But if they were to fight each other and, beat one another, then yeah, it would signify that one of them is truly elite. So I'm all in favor of this matchup if it's after Dennis Hogan. If you get a Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andrade fight on DAZN, or vice versa, hey, Al Heyman, PBC, send a counteroffer. Andrade, come over here to Fox on a one-off deal.
Yeah, be the A side. Send an offer.
And honestly, Charlo is the A side, for God's sake. Like, send an offer. Like, if and I know Charlo's been out there and said, like, oh, who's Demetrius Andrade? But, motherfucker, like, who are you in this division? Like, you did great things at 154 that we were all really hyped on. And then you came to 160, fought Sebastian Hyland, who had his knees missing, it looked like. Who else did he fight? He fought, what's the Mexican fighter that he fought? That knocked out Emmanuel Alim. Centeno, Hugo Centeno Jr., which was a decent matchup. I'll give him that. But, like, it's not top 10 or top 15. And then you fought Brandon Adams, who came off the Contender Series. Like,
I think I deleted that one.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, you've done very little in this division at this point in time. And same with Demetrius Andrade. You've done very little in this division. Like, what have you done? Go do something. And this is one of those fights that does something, in my opinion. Does it happen, Rob? You were shaking your head, so you don't seem like you're inclined to think that, A, these type of offers are being sent, or B, that it even happens?
Well, look, it was at the press conference that Charlo basically said, Eddie Hearn, talk to me, send me an offer, or, get in touch. I'm open to it. Then I think Eddie Hearn was interviewed, asked about that very sort of interview from Charlo, and he was like, yeah, that's no problem. We'll send an offer. We can get an offer sent, no problem at all. Then at the WBC convention, Charlo was like, yeah, who is Andrade? Who cares? Like, I don't need him. And then today it's as if Eddie's heard that and he went, yeah, I haven't, they said any further on the offer to Charlo. And it's like, fucking hell, you asked me this because it's a fight week. He gets a camera every day. And it was IFO, like, people say, how's it going, Eddie? He goes, well, not much has changed since, we spoke to each other 12 hours ago. He's sort of sometimes a little sarcastic with it. Like, what do you want from me? We sort of spoke yesterday. Nothing new. But he seemed to sort of go, no, nothing yet. Like, no offer's been sent yet. But I just don't see it. And I see the whole Korobov Eubank thing being the route that they seem to be aligning for Charlo. So I can't see that getting made. And, Eddie's got lots of fighters over on his side anyway. I don't know, try and get Andrade, and there's Andrade Billy Joe, there's Andrade Triple G, Andrade Jacobs. There's plenty that side anyway, I think. But this has all come off of the back of Charlo on a Fight Hype video saying, "Send me an Eddie, get in touch, make me an offer." So
I'll say this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. This is when I get called like a PBC fan, right? Is when I'm going to say this. I really hope all the people that kept that energy about PBC fighters not fighting each other keep the same energy about DAZN fighters and like Matchroom fighters not fighting each other right now, because it's a big issue, especially in the middleweight division, or like 160 to 168. The amount of guys that are in that DAZN umbrella that could fight each other and just simply aren't is really shocking. And you could probably make a case, Rob, that like PBC holding off on like a bunch of their welterweight fighters fighting until like the last year or so, right? When they had them all like in 2016, let's say, right? 2015, is not as bad as what's happening in the middleweight division right now with Canelo not fighting any other middleweight right now at this point in time. He fought Daniel Jacobs and he was like, I'm good. I like solidify my stance as the middleweight king. I don't need to fight any of you guys anymore. And then all these big fights, all these great matchups we were all thinking about just aren't happening. And there seems to be no way that DAZN or Eddie or even Oscar can push for these fights to happen. And it's just...
That's the thing. Eddie, crazy. Like I say, has got Jacobs, has got Triple G, has got Andrade, got Billy Joe. And I think he's under orders to get me the Canelo fight from all of those. Mm-hmm. So instead of fighting each other...
just add to that. Sorry, just add to that. On orders from his fighters and DAZN, too.
Yeah. Yeah, Canelo needs big opponents, and all of Eddie's fighters are maybe those big opponents or potentially decent enough matchups, and they all want that Canelo fight. And it's just all sitting around waiting for the Mr. Franchise to pick his next victim. But I don't know. They need to just kind of... I mean, Eddie kind of said it about Triple G. Let's make our own path then. Forget Canelo. Let's go our own direction. But it's still... But if we hang a left, we can maybe fight Canelo. Let's not make our new lane too far away. It's all still in mind of it. And the press are obviously all over it. Canelo had like a workout yesterday, sat down with the media 5 minutes in. Well, not even 5 minutes, 5 seconds in. Triple G question, and Canelo kind of rolled his eyes and laughed and was like, oh, here we fucking go. This is just going to be Triple G questions. So
I mean, he must know like that's going to be the name that he will be asked about for the rest of his career. Like when he's like retired and everything, and he gets asked by reporters when he's at events, it's going to be about Triple G fights.
Yeah, so about those Triple G fights.
That's just how it is. Like I assume like Pernell Whitaker got asked about Chavez every day of his life after he fought him, or close to every day, right? Yeah. Like some of these fighters are so intrinsically tied to one fighter in a way that how can you not like mention that other fighter when you're asking that fighter questions about their career or just boxing overall? It's how it's going to be in a way.